People, friends, survivor, here is the new Lady of the Night. The Fun Pimps have revealed the new Screamer zombie, and it sounds a bit like an ad in, Lonely Hearts kind of column. She enjoys long walks on the beach in addition to screaming, clawing, and biting heads off. And she looks really, really good. I mean, they've definitely gone beyond that regular kind of zombie look. And if you look at, you look at her face, you look at that, those beautiful, ugly eyes, but the teeth, especially the teeth, they're not the normal humanoid teeth. They're like these, I guess, fangs. But they look like evolved. I guess more like the white when it comes to the design of it, which sort of implies an evolution from the virus, meaning we just don't have the regular zombies, but at some point they are evolving. And I think that's a really good look for the zombies because it makes them look a bit more unique, but it also opens up for a lot more interesting, I think, gameplay and special abilities, because you could imagine having more of these special zombies in Alpha 20. And Alpha 20 is, of course, what we're looking at. What are the news of what's coming and when is it coming? What's happening with Alpha 20 7 days to 9? Of course, I'm Vedui. I'm going to go through some of the information that you might have seen or not seen on the Twitter, on the forums, and some discussions around that. So let's jump into something that Fatal says. He says a new thing for Alpha 20 is the feral sense. And right now it seems to be just very basic off, day, night, or all. And that's something that's going to be really interesting to see how that turns out when you're playing the game, because it will make the zombies find the player a lot more easier if you turn it on, say, for day, night, or all. And that's something that's going to make the game play very differently, because now it's kind of slow and dull at times, but that should really make it better. But they have mentioned that they don't plan for more options for Alpha 20, which is a bit of a pity, because I would love to see more changes of how the zombies behave. Now, I'm going through this in early August, and they have been updating slowly over the time. They haven't really given a lot of information, but something they said during July was that their RWG code was 75% done. And I'm actually going to go through some of the city planning techniques that they actually released a short video, and I'll do that later on today, but definitely looks like they are improving how random worlds are looking. Now, they are improving the weather. Now you're going to see weather changing more often, shorter duration, and a more controlled randomness. You're not going to see things changing from extremes. Maybe you're going to see smaller things like stronger fogs coming in, rolling in because of the wind speed and stuff like that. And it's going to be really cool if we can get all that done to make it a little bit cooler. One thing that I like about the Blood Moon Horde is sort of seeing that redness, as of course you can see in the video here. And this is Undead Legacy, by the way, and maybe I'll leave a link in the description. It's an awesome mod pack. Anyway, the redness of everything around you, could imagine having a fog rolling in across the lands during the day, during the night, because that's something that really changes the gameplay. And with that sort of the weather updates, you can imagine sort of having a fog rolling in during the early mornings or something, and then slowly dissipating as sort of the sun comes up and burns away that humidity. So that would be really cool. Something that people keep asking about is that 1 meter movement for zombies, and it has been something that they have been talking about for such a long time. It doesn't look like they're going to do much of that for Alpha 20. Unfortunately, they have mentioned that it would require redoing a lot of the POIs, because they're right now meant for 2x1 height zombies. So making it allowing zombies to go through 1x1 means that it changes the pathing quite fundamentally. So we're not going to see that happening. We're not going to see wandering sleepers either. Of course, water we're not going to get. So unfortunately, not a lot of AI changes as far as the zombies goes for Alpha 20. But another really cool thing, and again, this comes back to, well, this is not really a zombie. Well, I guess it's a zombie texture, HD zombie texture. It's just a very brutalized, gooey zombie. So one of the things they've been doing is the Gore model, the zombie Gore model, has been updated by, I guess his name is No, but it looks really good. If you're looking at the details that, see the spine, and actually this looks more like a dog, I guess. Interesting. And of course that skull that has been caved in, and that blood, a little bit weird to have so much red blood on what it's been all the flesh is gone, right? There's not a lot of flesh. There's some intestines in there, and then you have that blood. Maybe that should have been dried up. It shouldn't be that light, maybe, but it looks really good. And it's, again, having this updated, it's probably just going to change out the existing Gore models that we see laying around here and there. But it would be cool if maybe some of the zombies that you destroy and kill actually would leave these kind of blocks around where they die, just to sort of make the battlefield look more enticing afterwards. During the past month, Fatal has also clarified that there's not going to be a lot of special ability changes for the zombies, and very little in terms of general AI changes, except that feral sense. Now, I think that's a little bit of a pity. They did have that new gasser zombie that they were talking about that is supposed to be gassing all the players, and I really thought that they're gonna put in that special ability where, surrounding it there was this gas of, I don't know, debilitating fumes or something. But they aren't talking about, they're not going to see no special ability changes. And that means that might not be coming for Alpha 20. And that's going to be a bit of a pity, because I think that the game needs that. The game needs more zombie types, more challenges to sort of we have of course, the Monge, we have the Screamer, and this new Screamer model looks really good, by the way, Fun Pimps. But having more special abilities to, maybe at higher levels, maybe bosses, maybe only at Blood Moon Horse, would just change things up a bit. And Fatal also mentioned that the Blood Moon should be the same, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think that that's a big problem of Alpha 19 earlier, is that yes, Blood Moon Halls are really cool. It's really nice to have these kind of amazing fights. However, they get to be very much the same all the time after a while, and having more zombies with special abilities, having them different would, I think, make it a lot more enjoyable. And it's a bit of a pity that they haven't been expanding that concept in Alpha 20. They have, of course, been putting in more assets. And here we have some additional debris that we will be seeing around. And I think this is something that I wish that we can actually either pick it up like you can in Under Legacy, or craft it ourselves, or buy it from the traders, because having this around our own POIs, again, is something that I think just enhances the feeling of the house. Let's say you want to have, you're building your own base and you're having sort of your scrapyard outside, or maybe you're sort of restoring a house, something, being able to put in this kind of debris on assets in general, because it's in the game, would be really awesome, because it looks really good. I mean, you look at it better than today, where you do have some individual blocks, debris and everything, but this looks so much better. It looks so nice, and it makes the game look less blocky and more sort of organic, real. And if you enjoy these updates, make sure you hit that like of that video, and maybe subscribe as well. Now, when it comes to updates, I've been talking about that quite a few times, and I do think we should be having a lot more frequent updates. Every 6 months would be good. Now we're maybe 15 months, which is a little bit of a pity, because people are just anxious to get more updates. And people were questioning, why did we get 19.6? And one thing that has been highlighted this by Meganaut is that sometimes, and I think that 19.6 was one of them, where they were having bug fixes that they were doing for Alpha 20, and they were able to copy it in fairly easily. And he mentions minutes. I'm not quite sure whether that's actually the case, but they're within a very short amount of effort, or small amount of effort rather, copy that back into Alpha 19, do some basic testing, and then release it. I think that it is a bit of a problem if you do that too often, because of it does impact other mods, other mod packs and stuff like that. It impacts people who run servers, because you might have different version and everything. Sometimes it's worthwhile, sometimes it's not. I do hope right now they're not going to do 19.7, because I think that they should just focus, do Alpha 20, drop any Alpha 19 stuff, don't worry about it. Let's just focus on Alpha 20 that people really want to see come out. Now, the Fun Pimps have been showing off some of the new city tile tech that I highlighted for the random world, where they have some of these different, you can see the different boxes there. You have the blue and you have the green in the middle, and of course you have the streets, where they are sort of showing how they are changing the layout of the cities, meaning they set out these different tiles, and then the tile technology looks like it's able to sort of in a much more organic way plot in other POIs in there without sort of affecting anything else. And I think that makes it look really cool, because you can imagine that just making the variety so much better. And they have been highlighting more work on this on the forums, where you will be able to change some of these things in the, I think, the RWG mixer.xml file, which for a normal player is probably not going to get done. But if you're making a mod, if you're making, let's say, KingGen and stuff like that, Nitrogen, where you're doing a map generation, you'll be able to then make these tweaks and everything to make it look really cool. So unfortunately, they didn't speak through this. It would be really nice to hear the developer talk through what this really means and how that's going to be applied. But it looks really cool. You see the same structure, but just with different, or rather strict structure of the city, or that city area, with just different POIs depending on how that gets randomized. And that's really cool. So Alpha 20, when is it coming? Really good question. Something that people, even over the last few days, people came up and said, I think that we're going to see Alpha 20 in August. And one thing I was trying to highlight, that the Fun Pimps have been using the stream team for the past few releases, where basically they have a bunch of people who come in who are able to get a few days early access over a weekend, a streamer weekend that it's called, access to the new version, stream it, make some content, show it off, build a hype and everything before the experimental release comes in. Part of this is that actually there's a process, because they open up for new people to join the stream team. They have to accept them, they have to provide information and all that, and we haven't really heard anything come out of it, which basically means this is not something that's going to be coming within, I suspect, the next few weeks, because generally that's something they communicate at least a few weeks ahead, and normally a month or two at least, because they have to give people opportunity to schedule it in, get into the stream team to begin with, which is a bit of a few week process as well. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see anything within the next month. It's probably going to be 2, 3, 4 months, which means we are in the fall, possibly winter time, before we're seeing Alpha 20. The good news is, of course, that there seems to be a lot of cool stuff coming into Alpha 20. The bad news is, unfortunately, it seems that we're all going to have to wait. But that's my best guess. A lot of people are saying that, hey, it's going to come out by in December or something, and that's not impossible. Personally, I hope we're going to see something early on, be it September, be it October, at least for an experimental version. But that's my best guess at least. We'll see what happens. I am psyched. I'm looking forward to it. And until then, I'm just playing a lot of mod packs, because those are awesome as well. Hope you enjoyed this, and make sure you leave that like, and let me know what you think about Alpha 20. What is the one feature that you are most psyched about, and what's the one thing that you really are not really happy about as far as Alpha 20? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you again. Good night, Survivor.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.